You're still in someone's thoughts. Time has passed, but that person has never been able to forget you. Every day, their thoughts return to you, to everything you shared. Now, something is about to happen. This person is determined. A radical choice will be made, and it could change everything between you. Get ready, it's going to happen soon. This person tried to move on, but couldn't. Each attempt to forget only reinforced how much you still occupy their thoughts. The memories remain alive. The feelings have never been erased. It may have taken a while, but the decision is made. And this time, there's no turning back. They thought about everything. They reflected on what they lost, what they failed to say. What could have been different? They spent nights sifting through memories, rehearsing words that were never spoken, and now finally, the moment has come. You will hear something unexpected. It could be a message, or perhaps an unplanned meeting. But when it happens, you'll know. Something inside you will recognize that this person hasn't given up, that there has always been a hidden desire to start over. Don't be fooled. This decision wasn't easy. There were doubts, fears, hesitations, but the weight of absence was heavier. The silence became unbearable. And now nothing else matters but seeing you again. Don't ignore the signs. Everything around you may begin to change subtly. Little details will catch your attention. Maybe a name that appears out of nowhere, a song that reminds you of them, or a strange feeling of déjà vu. Because this person is closer than you think, and the decision has already been made. They no longer want to live with regrets. They don't want to look back and wonder, what if? This time action comes before fear. This time there will be no escape. Get ready. Something is coming. Something real. Something intense. And when it happens, you will feel it. Do you feel it? That change in the air, that strange sensation that something is about to happen. It's not a coincidence. It's the impact of that decision that has already been made and could hit you hard at any moment. That person is coming. And don't think it will be something timid or hesitant. There's no more room for doubt. The wait is over. The silence will be broken. You might receive an unexpected contact, a short message without explanations, just a simple, "We need to talk," or perhaps a call in the middle of the night with the trembling voice of someone who has held this moment for too long. And when it happens, everything that has been dormant inside you will awaken all at once. The impact will be inevitable. Your heart might race, your hands may sweat, because deep down, no matter how much you've moved on with your life, something inside you has also been waiting for this. This person isn't coming back for no reason. It's not a fleeting impulse. It's not a momentary need. It's something bigger. It's the certainty that letting you go was a mistake, and mistakes like that don't get repeated. You might feel reluctant, maybe even try to resist, but it will be futile. When your eyes meet again, when the words start to be spoken, time won't matter anymore. Only the present will remain. But there's one question. Are you prepared? Because this won't be just any conversation. This person isn't looking for excuses or testing what still exists. They came to resolve things, to define, to put an end to the uncertainty once and for all. You can run. You can pretend you don't see it. You can try to convince yourself that this doesn't change anything, but it won't work. Because something inside you already knows. The moment has come. And when that person is standing in front of you, looking into your eyes, waiting for your response, what will you do? That person will be right in front of you. Their gaze will be direct, with no detours, no distractions. You'll feel the weight of their presence because this time, there's no more room for doubt or hesitation. Time may have passed, but the intensity remains. You will see in her eyes everything that has been held back, everything that was never said. And in that moment, you will understand that this conversation is not like the others. There's no room for games, no half-hearted words. Then comes the confession. I couldn't forget you. Simple, direct, cutting. No excuses, no embellishments. Just the raw truth of someone who fought against her own feelings and lost. I tried to move on, tried to pretend you weren't important, but that was a lie. And there, in front of you, this person will strip away all pride, all defenses, because now nothing else matters except what still exists between you. You might feel your heart race. You may try to maintain your composure, disguise the impact, but there's no denying it. This hits you in a way that no one else can. Then comes the inevitable question, and you? Do you still feel something? This will be the time of truth, the moment where everything that was avoided must be faced. What will you say? You could pull back, pretend that none of this affects you. You could say you've moved on, that the past should stay in the past, but is that really true? Or deep down, do you know that this story isn't over yet? The choice will be yours. But know this person came to change everything. And the decision you make now may determine what happens moving forward. What will you do? The silence between you will be piercing. The air thick with tension, filled with everything that has built up over time. This person will be there, waiting, holding her breath for your response. There's no way to avoid it. There's no more running away. What will you say? If you choose the easier path, you can simply look away and say that the past is behind you. You can pretend this conversation doesn't affect you, that her presence doesn't make your heart race. But is that really true? Or have you always known deep down that this moment would come? This person didn't return to hear apologies. They didn't come back out of impulse or fleeting need. They are here because there is something unfinished, something that neither time nor distance has been able to erase. And you know that. Her gaze carries that certainty. There are no doubts, no insecurities. What was said cannot be taken back. I couldn't forget you. You can feel the weight of those words. You can see that nothing that was experienced was in vain. You might try to deny it, but your body betrays you. A shiver, a distant gaze, a moment of hesitation, and then the question still hangs in the air. And you? Do you still feel anything? Your thoughts collide. You revisit every moment, every memory, every promise you once thought would never be broken. The answer is right there, caught in your throat. What will you say? Maybe you'll try to buy some time. Look for a rational explanation for what you feel. But the truth is simple. Feelings don't follow logic. They don't disappear just because we want them to. This person is waiting. You can feel the intensity in her gaze, the vulnerability of someone who risked everything by expressing how they feel. And now, the choice is in your hands. Will you make room for this reconnection? Will you allow this story to have a new chapter? Or will you turn your back and pretend none of this matters? Time is running out. An answer needs to be given. And when you speak, everything will change. This person didn't come back by chance. It wasn't a sudden impulse, a mere relapse. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a decision. And decisions like this aren't made without reason. Every step she took brought her back to you. Every persistent thought, every memory that stubbornly remained. She tried to fight it, tried to deny it, tried to move on without looking back. But she couldn't. And now it all comes down to this moment, to this instant when destiny puts you face to face once more. The silence stretches. The air is heavy. The question hangs in the air. And you? Do you still feel something? Time may have passed, but certain answers don't change. The heart may have learned to be silent, but not to forget. The body may pretend indifference, but the soul always recognizes who belongs to it. Your eyes meet hers, and in that moment, everything comes rushing back. Everything that was repressed, hidden, suffocated. Because some connections are too strong to be erased. You can feel it, you can deny it with words, but your heart has already answered. She waits. No pressure, no demands. Just the truth reflected in her gaze. And you feel the weight of that truth like a hurricane inside you, because this person didn't come seeking empty answers. She didn't return to hear polite lies. She didn't walk this path to be rejected with lame excuses. She came because something still exists, something that neither time, nor distance, nor new paths could destroy. And now? What are you going to do with this? You can back away, you can pretend this conversation doesn't change anything. But can you really? Can you simply let this person walk away again, knowing that maybe this is your last chance? Or could it be that this time fate is giving you the opportunity you've always waited for? Take a deep breath. The moment is now. And your answer could change everything. The silence is heavy. The air feels thick, charged with everything that hasn't been said before. This person is still there in front of you, waiting, her gaze steady, her breath held, her fingers fidgety. Everything about her shows the tension of the moment. But she won't back down. She has already made her decision. Now the choice is in your hands. Your heart races. Your mind tries to find words and escape a logical explanation for what's happening. But there's no logic when it comes to feelings. There's no reasoning that justifies what you both still feel. Because deep down, the answer is already within you. You still feel something, and that person knows it. She sees it in your eyes, in the way your voice trembles, in the slight shaking of your hands. You might try to fool yourself, but the truth is plain to see. This story isn't over. So what will you do now? You can take a step back. You can try to protect yourself, say you don't want to relive what's already happened. You can say everything has changed, that you've gone different ways, that time has been enough to bury the past. But is that really true? Because if it were, this meeting wouldn't have such an impact. If it were true, the mere sound of this person's voice wouldn't have affected you so deeply. And she sees that. She notices the hesitation in your eyes, understands the inner struggle you're having with yourself. But now, there's no more time for half-truths. There's no more room for pride or fear. So she speaks again. I need to know, do you still feel anything? This time the question is heavy with emotion. It's not an accusation, it's not a desperate plea, it's a real need. It's someone who has had the courage to open her heart, and now she's waiting for your answer. And now, your thoughts are racing. Memories flood your mind. The good times, the bad, the promises made in the past. What was said, what was felt, what was left behind. You feel it all as if it's happening right now, as if the years that have passed are just an insignificant detail in the face of the intensity of this moment. And then, without realizing it, you let out a deep sigh. Your eyes meet hers once again. You see expectation, fear, hope, but above all you see love, a love that has never ceased to exist despite everything. Time seems to stop. The world around you disappears, and your answer comes, simple, direct, definitive. Yes. The word echoes in the space between you like a silent thunder. The eyes of this person shine for a moment. It's as if the weight of years filled with uncertainties, doubts, and regrets has vanished, as if everything is worth it now. She exhales the breath she was holding. The tension dissolves. And then, without warning, she takes a step forward. The distance between you disappears. Your heart races. Emotions overflow. You know what's about to happen. And this time, there's no more resistance, no more doubts. Because deep down, you always knew. You always knew this moment would arrive. And now, it's here. And there's no turning back. The following seconds seem to stretch, yet everything happens too fast. The space between you vanishes. The invisible barrier that time has built simply ceases to exist. Her eyes remain locked on yours, as if they seek to confirm that this is real, that it's no longer a dream or a distant memory. And then, finally, the touch occurs. It's subtle at first, an almost hesitant movement, as if fear still tries to fight against the inevitable. Her fingers brush lightly against yours, and that simple contact sends an electric shock through your body. You feel the warmth of her presence. You sense her rapid breath. You feel that time is on the verge of exploding into a decisive moment. She doesn't need to say anything more, because the answer has already been given. But there's a weight in her eyes, a different shine, as if there's still something left to say, something that needs to be clarified before you both cross this line that will change everything once and for all. I don't want to get it wrong this time. Her voice comes out softer, more intense. If we're going to try again, it has to be for real. No running away, no doubts, no half measures. Can you promise me that? Your heart tightens. This isn't just any question. It's a commitment. It's a genuine request, because there's no more room for games, for indecision. Either you dive into this with your whole being, or it makes no sense to move forward. You swallow hard. The answer is on the tip of your tongue, but you hesitate. Not because you're unsure of how you feel, but because you know this decision will change everything. If you say yes, you know there's no turning back. If you say yes, you will be accepting not just the good times, but all the difficult parts, everything that needs to be worked through. But looking into this person's eyes, feeling their energy so close, you know you have no choice. Because running away is no longer an option. Because fate has brought you to this point, and ignoring it would be a greater mistake than anything you've done in the past. So without any more hesitation, without any more doubts, without any more fears, you respond, "I promise." And that promise, spoken with so much certainty, with such truth, shifts something in the air. You feel it, they feel it. The weight of uncertainties disappears. The fear dissolves. Because now, there's no more room for assumptions. You know what you want. You know this moment cannot be wasted. And then, without another word, you give in to what you've always known to be inevitable. The touch is no longer hesitant. The embrace is no longer restrained. The kiss that follows is not born of doubt, but of certainty, of a new beginning, of a new story. This time without halves. This time, for real. Fate has brought you together again. And now, comment, "I choose what my heart feels." Subscribe, leave a like and share.